What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. We are here to talk about terminal boxes, round 2, but more importantly, so it's not just a Redux video, we got it. So we do have the BKK OCD box, and we got some things to say about it. Y'all know winter season is the season of organization for tackle, so we've done that.
Not just organizing, but reorganizing and reorganizing.
Yes.
We had to pivot hard, so we did a video, we were really happy with it, and then instantly the comments were flooded with, get the BKK box, what about the BKK box? BKK is an OCD box, and we're like, bruh, I hear you. So we went out and got it. We got it so early, Tackle Warehouse didn't even have it in stock yet. We were on the pre-order list, so that's how early we are on this one. We got it as soon as we could.
But we know enough to be dangerous, and we're going to talk about it today. So let's get into it.
I was just going to say, and now we're going to be dangerous.
Okay, so here's where both of us start. Now, granted, this is definitely overkill for terminal, but this is like how we used to roll because we film on the water, and we feel like we needed to have everything to try and get fishing videos done. But we started with two, not one, two terminal boxes from Plano. These are the Plano Edge 3700 size boxes. Right now, we found the cheapest price for these is $52.99, and that is on Fish USA, normally $59.99 retail. So not ideal. Also, we hate the latch. Like, the latch is convenient because it's one latch, but it's also the worst because it opens and then all of your stuff flies everywhere, and that stinks.
But we like them because they're thin, so two of these is about the same thickness as one regular 3700 size box. And it also has some really cool features, like up here you would normally see, we'll show you in a second, places for you to store your weights, and it's very silent and wonderful. You also have these little window boxes that you can move around and pivot and use different, you know, just to store whatever you want, as much as you want. But they're pretty quality, and they are really, in our opinion, one of the best boxes out there for storing terminals. So that's why we were rocking two of them. But like Jeff said, we decided, you know what, we can trim this down. Do I really need every single Nico weight that I've ever seen in my life? No, I don't. No.
I'm relearning.
And we went through that process, and we were able to get it down to, like Jeff has over here, we were able to get all of that down to one and still have everything we need and not feel like we were going to be missing out.
So this was my one. Paul decided to do something a little bit different, so I went with the, okay, I love a lot about the Plano Edge terminal boxes. There's only a few things I dislike about them, so I'm going to try and stick with it, and I'm going to go heavy on the labels, baby. So this is my version of the OCD box, and I fished with this for a couple weeks because we did this towards the end of the season. It was really convenient, it had everything I need, and I'm going to stick with it for the next year.
Now, I went a different route, so I took the Busby basic box. So this is their much less expensive box, and it's more their traditional style where you have the little dividers on the inside, and you can just pick up these black dividers and move them around as needed. So I just had them all basically in one spaces, and I had the top row the same way. This looks half empty because I have since gone to the BKK to fill it out and test it for you, but I had this entire thing full. So the top row was all weights, everything down was hooks and miscellaneous terminal. I will say the biggest gripe, and really what lent me to go to the BKK box and really want to try it, was the fact that, one, I know that was loud for you, it was loud for me, and that is with no weights in here. So that was kind of, I don't love that. Fish do spook. It's a real thing, and I just don't like it. So I didn't love that. I also found that I had like all of my EWG hooks in like 2 or 3 compartments, so I'm mixing sizes. And look,
that's the worst.
You would like to think that, one, you won't forget to go refill when you run out of 3/0, or you would like to think that you won't just have like a mess of them all entangled waiting for you to reach your hand in and just stab yourself. You're 100% going to do that. So that's what the BKK really felt a lot more efficient. Now, my second round of this was to empty all the weights out, buy myself some more spaces, and then all the weights went into a second box. And this is like 2/3 full probably, and it's silent. There's not really a lot of noise going on. Give her a, it's not bad.
Just these weights right there. But if those weren't there, this would be almost completely silent because these little, and I use these in my Plano Edge terminal box as well. These things are clutch. Probably like the best way anybody's figured out to hold weights in the game. There we go. Probably the best way that anybody's figured out how to hold fishing weights in the game. The only other options I've seen for this are a box, is the Bass Mafia terminal coffin, and then a lot of people talk about the Cal Coast Battle Box that has styrofoam kind of tubes, like capped tubes, so the weights kind of bounce off the styrofoam. Listen, Cal Coast Battle Box, It looks like a great idea. It is also, to me, a bit too bulky for what I want the terminal box to be. I see it as like fantastic for boat guys.
Yeah, this is a really thin box.
I'd rather have this on a kayak.
This is a very small, thin option. So for a kayak, this makes a whole heck ton of sense just for us and the way we fish. If you're into this Calicos box,
wow,
that one, we have looked at it. We have not reviewed it yet. We might do that in the future if it becomes something where you guys are like, you have to look at it.
You're wrong.
We'll take a look, but we haven't gone that route yet. But we did go. We pivoted to the BKK box. One, because just the flood of recommendations and questions and requests to get a review. So we went out and bought it.
And yes, it is
taller.
Like, it's taller. It's definitely bulkier. So it's kind of.
Let's grab. So it is a little bit taller even than a standard. It's 3700. It's 1.5, almost 1.25, I think, by height.
So it's not thin. That's not ideal. But we definitely did want to take a look at it and review it as much as we could for you guys to tell you if we think it's worth it or not. So cost.
Yeah. So before we get into the nitty gritty on this one and show you the inside, there's essentially 3 different levels that you can choose from. You can buy just the empty box. So it's $25 just for the empty box with none of the little boxes on the inside. If you want to buy the starter kit, it comes with 20 of the medium boxes, which are these actually the larger ones, and then 8 of the smalls that go on top. That's what this is right here.
This is the starter kit.
So this is that box, plus with the starter kit you get like half or 2/3 of the boxes that this can fill. And the starter kit that you're seeing right here, everything it comes with is $40. Now, there is a fully loaded option. So the fully loaded OCD kit, now when they say fully loaded, it comes, every single one of the boxes comes with it. It comes with this box, just like the other ones do. And then every single box is pre-labeled. That is a huge deal, and comes full of hooks. I think it's 1 pack of BKK hooks, which are a premium hook inside of each one of these. $300, $299.99 plus tax in the applicable states. It is not free.
Terminal, and mind you, not all terminal, because there's no weights. There's no worm weights. There's no other like drop shot weights or anything.
But there's there's trebles and every other kind of hook that you could possibly imagine is in there. And it comes with these boxes. Now look at the labeling on this. It comes pre-done and it's perfect. It's legible. They even tell you like the general size and like I think they give you the weights too. Yeah, they give you the bait size and all that. It's really nice. I found it weird that they labeled the quantity. Like it's good when you start, but like what happens like right when you start fishing? Like, oh, I got 6 of these. No, you have 2 left. Like I find it weird that they put a quantity in there, but
or you have 30.
Yeah, so I say like, oh, you have 35, 2-aught EWGs, but then like you lose one and it's wrong. So I will say though, that labeling, after going through and hand labeling all mine, which you'll see in a minute, I thought was actually kind of worth it. I wish they just sold the boxes.
You're going to pay $300 to get labels.
Just the labels. It's really nice.
Keep the hooks.
When you see my labeling, you'll maybe see why. Let's do a quick walkthrough. So first off, the bottom is, I think, pretty heavy duty. Not like a rock solid, bulletproof, overbuilt, but like very acceptable quality. Not going to be bendy. You could break it, but not from dropping. It's a bend before break, and it has some depth to it. You're pretty good. The top lid is kind of flimsy though. It is pretty thin.
It is. I wasn't impressed.
You can just bend this like without doing pretty much anything.
I actually just leaned on it on the desk a minute ago and it started cracking and I got nervous.
You're like, oh boy. It does have the waterproof gasket on the outside, so I do like that. One thing you'll notice is these tabs in the back. That allows the box to stand upright all on its own. I do like that feature. That was well thought out.
That's pretty cool.
Good job.
Because you want to know like what a big issue is with the with these? When they're sitting in a crate, as soon as you take another box out, they just fall over. And then this lid likes to get caught and then it just pops open. It happens to me every day.
And the unintended side effect of scaring away every fish you were just trying to catch in the neighborhood. Let's talk hinges. So at the back here, you do have some, I'd say, moderate quality hinges, but they do have the metal bar going across. So I do feel like you're going to get some decent durability out of that.
Hinge to hinge. Here's the Busby hinge.
So this is like what I would consider top tier quality. The bar goes all the way across the back and it's much thicker plastic, more heavy duty. This is more like what you find on the Plano terminal boxes, which it's pretty solid. Look, it's pretty solid.
Almost precisely.
Yep.
Because there's 2 sections.
Right? Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. These hinges, I think, are a big miss for me. They're very kind of flimsy, okay plastic. The latch is just like the little plastic I'll show you if I can, just a little overhook, and that's it. Now,
I like that.
Are they going to work? Yes. Do I really think that in 1 or 2 seasons they're going to break? No, I don't. I think they'll last just fine. But if they broke, you'd be like, well,
pissed.
20. Well, it's only $25 to buy
just
another
get
box.
another box.
It's kind of nice. You just buy another box. So once you invest in this, replacing components is not that bad. The medium boxes and the small boxes are basically $1 each. They come in a 5-pack, so $5 for 5 boxes.
Let's see one of them.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. That's where I wanted to go next. Let's take a look at these boxes. So they are let's get in, zoom in. So they're a pretty rigid, clear plastic. They are pretty hard. They're not going to shatter, but they are hard. Much harder than sort of the softer plastic. And I'm actually going to show you an alternate version of them a little bit later. Ooh. Now, what I really like is they have these little tiny tabs. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. Right there, you can see the light reflecting off of it. That's not latching to anything. That's allowing you to pick these out when the whole thing is actually really full, which I thought that was a nice touch.
That was smart.
And then the way that they clamp down, so you see where that sticker is right there, you just pull that up, and that is how they open.
I don't love this about it. What? It's like just a flick.
Most of them don't do that. Boop. That would be the exception, I would feel.
It seems like the small ones do it more than
these ones definitely don't.
The mediums ones, they don't so much, but the small ones definitely are a little more flimsy.
They're also not going to hold as much heavy stuff. So
sure.
I was going to show you an example. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swim bait hooks. So there's probably 2-ish ounces in here. So here.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that's acceptable to me.
Did you go upside down? I mean, if you're putting hooks in it, like that's not going anywhere. But
not at all.
It's weights that would be the problem.
But
sure.
I also kind of want to showcase you can fit a good amount of swim bait hooks in there. So these are 1/8 and 1/4 ounce swim bait hooks.
Here's a better example.
Yeah, there's a
whole bunch of Neds right there.
There you go.
So should we risk it?
Yeah, risk it for the biscuit. Right. We got the hard floor.
Oh, okay. I'll give it to you. They're holding on. They're holding on. That's upside down, by the the way. In case anybody was like, you're just holding it up. No. Upside down. See, there's.
I want to like naturally just.
Right. Everybody's scared.
No, I mean they're pretty good, and I will tell you though, my biggest gripe with these though, other than having to label your own. So there's your labels. You do have to kind of with a pen just write your own labeling in there, and it is going to smear. Like I did it on a couple of these, and they give you no extras. So when it smears, you are screwed. Mildly disturbed.
You are purchasing a label maker and then you're labeling them.
You're upset, right? You're a little sad. With microprint. You're a little sad. But here's what, they do have little tabs on the back. So these do stand up on their own, just like the Master Box does, which I thought was pretty cool. Nice touch. Here's the touch I didn't like. So when you open these up, you'll notice that the hinge is not actually a hinge. It's just plastic. Ooh. And just like any other just plastic hinge, when you open and close it, So your number 3s, your EWG number 3s, your EWG number 5s and 4s, they use the most. Your worm hooks, your drop shot hooks, whatever you use the most of, that box is only going to last a season or 2. If you're a heavy fisherman, probably 1 season is what you should expect out of those. That's just my opinion. I haven't used it, but just a guess, right? Yep. But to be fair, it's not expensive to replace. If you break 5 of them, it's $5 to replace at the end of the year. So if the box breaks, $25 for a box of this caliber, you can just take all of them and dump them back in, buy another one, move them around. Yeah. I actually think that is pretty good. Moderate cost of entry, really low cost for replacement.
So you guys know how we do this on the channel. We like to try to get things out on the water, which Paul hasn't been able to get on the water with this. Not only did he he just got this, he also has a destroyed arm that he's working on recovering from.
It's much better. Check this out, you guys. I couldn't do this at all.
It's functioning.
Oh, God! Look at this. Look at this.
Look at this guy.
Concerns. Look at this. I can use my wrist.
Oh, my God.
It's insanity.
Amazing. So we'll get this out on the water next year, but we reserve judgment until that point. What we can give is initial impressions. I think it's okay. I'm going to go with this is just fine. The cost for the full box, I think, is not worth it to me because, I mean, unless you just really like having a million zillion hooks. If you're a tournament guy, that's probably you. If you're me, aggressively average, that's not you. Like, I don't need that many hooks, and I would also like a terminal box to also have weights. So if I'm buying all hooks, and then I just gotta like throw a bunch of them out so I can put weights in here so that I don't have to bring another terminal box. It kind of defeats the purpose for me. Also, I don't love the box or the cartridges that much. I think that this is like really close to ideal though. So I'm not saying it's a absolute fail. It's not. There are some redeeming qualities for this thing for sure. It's not insanely expensive. It's a lot cheaper than the Plano Edge terminal box right now. That's for sure. And then you could get these cartridges, fill it up like Paul did. Like the way Paul did it, I think is the way to do it. I'm never buying the $300 hook version of this. But I do have, my interest is piqued. We'll say that. How about that?
Yeah, and I would say, I'll just play devil's advocate a little bit. I do think that the quality is good. I don't think it's overpriced for the medium kit, the starter kit. I don't actually think I think the terminal box is a value. If you needed all the hooks or you like BKKs and you wanted to get the fully loaded, maybe you take half of it out or whatever, yeah, you're not buying any hooks for a long time, and you have all BKK, which is a really nice hook. I mean, but I will say, if you're paying $60 for one of these, right? So you're paying, even if you're paying the $52, which is the maybe like the discounted rate everywhere, you're paying $52, and you would have to modify this box like to make it what you want a little bit, or if it is what you want, right? So let's say you went as is. You
have to buy a couple extra of these to be real, like, and these are $2 to $5, I think, a piece.
We'll call it
these little
60
containers.
bucks.
So this is, you know, not without its pros and cons as well. Like, we hate the latch on these things. It's just not great.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
I've broken these,
if you drop it corner down, it's shattering.
I have shattered corners of these in the past on my jig box, which was a lot of money too.
And so what I would say is, let's say you pay $45 for the BKK box. You fill it out. This is almost actually almost all the hooks that I would need, with some very small exceptions. But what I'm going to call out is, look at how much room, you know, it remains to be in there. So my plan was, I bought another $20 of boxes, mostly because I didn't know what I wasn't going to need. But for $10 more, I think you get 10 more boxes, 5 small, 5 more mediums. And
you're at the price of the Plano.
And then now you have a place for all your weights. And I don't think that that's a problem. To me, that seems like a good solution. So I think that there is a market for this. I think the idea is really good. The ingenuity on it was solid. Like, they really did a good invention. It was a good invention. It's a good next step. And I think there's definitely a market for the OCD fully loaded. And I love the idea of being able to just replace things as they break, because I think they probably knew these gonna break.
End of the day, I don't think anybody's nailed a terminal box yet.
Not to my standards. But I'll tell you something. Tell us. Somebody in our comments was like, oh, you think that you want the cheap version of that? Check out a bead organizer kit. And I literally was like, what the heck is that?
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong, bro. I went out and got one. $9 for this bad boy right there. Now, what is a bead organizer kit, you might ask yourself? These come in a million different sizes. It's almost the exact same thing.
It's an OCD box.
With some less features. So these are your latches, same latches, but instead of an actual hinge, it's just the bent plastic. So those are going to break. Now, they
will die.
They do make these with the hinge, though. And they make one with the handle on top, which I kind of like.
I have a large version of this that I store jigs in.
This is like the medium size. They make much bigger ones. And then they make them where they stack on top of each other. And it's got, again, this is going to break. This is flimsy plastic, but look, you get 30 boxes. And the boxes out the gate, you get 30 boxes. Now, the dividers don't hold. So, like, these are just loose in the tray, right? And then, are these going to break? For sure. But for another $9, you could rebuy the whole kit. So you can get as a 4, almost 5 to 1.
If you squeeze it, it snaps open.
As a 4 or 5 to 1, that's a very inexpensive way to get essentially the same organized option.
There wouldn't be a wrong thing to do.
They do come with the top labels, though, so you can do the same sort of like on top and sift through your stuff and see what you have.
It's just little white stickies.
Yeah, but like, that's a deal, dude. So, you can Amazon that and have that to your house like in 2 days.
Tomorrow.
Like, that's insane. If you order by 9 p.m., if you order before 9 p.m., it'll be at your house tomorrow.
Drone dropped for you.
It's totally nuts. So, you know what? Kudos to the person that called that out, because I'm actually going to use this, I think, in my office to store my extra hooks, because it's really... The one thing I thought was the benefit is because the boxes are vertical and because this box is really condensed, the amount of hooks you fit like per square inch, it's bananas. It is bananas. Like, if you are a hook heavy individual, you can almost every hook you own could fit in here. I don't doubt it.
Quantity is won by the BKK box for sure.
Per square centimeter.
So I have been using one of these for 2 years
for
almost.
beads.
For beads for my bead
for your bedazzle kits.
For jigs, actually, but I have used one of these, and I can tell you, after a long amount of use.
Yeah.
These things don't stay shut anymore. Like once you open it 3 times, they stop staying shut. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
3 times I was like, jig in, jig out, jig in, broken. So they stop latching is what happens. So they won't stay closed. So I don't love the idea of this on the water. For what you and I use it for, if we're using it in the office, it works. It's definitely functional. All my extra jigs are organized in there. So I've got everything from hair jigs to chatterbaits to whatever. Like they're all just reorganized. My extras.
You could also color code those.
Yep.
Because they have like blue, pink, red, like colors of the boxes.
You can get a rainbow box. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, like think about it. Like all your hair jigs are purple.
Yep.
All your flipping jigs are green. Like,
the
idea is there. I don't hate it. I kind of like it. So there, you've got a cheap version, an absolutely basement price version where you can just buy to your heart's content, right? And just go absolutely nuts. You got the quality version with the BKK. Our thought is, it's probably on the line. If it suits your desires of how you want to hold on to stuff, it's a huge win. If you like what you already have and you're just remodeling sort of like Jeff and I did, then, stick with that option. We're always going to tell you guys, look, this is just our opinion. We're trying to put ourselves in your shoes and say, hey, for this person, it probably makes a lot of sense. Or maybe this person makes no sense at all. And then you get to make the decision for yourself after kind of seeing it up close.
We want these latches right here. We want this case versus this case, a little bit softer, right?
I want the BKK yoked up. I want the BKK on steroids.
I want it to float, and I want it to be, I mean, the thickness I could deal with if it carries all of my terminal, that's fine. 3,700 size this box.
Why isn't this just 3,700 size? I understand that, like, cost-wise, but like the empty box isn't that expensive. Just add one more row, my guy. Like, I think that's kind of weird that they don't have a 3,700 size. Like every other company that makes like containers for terminal or weights or hook or baits or whatever sticks with the 3,600, 3,700 because that's what backpacks, duffel bags, boat lockers, like kayak crates. They're all based
36, 37.
They're all based off of this size profile.
It can be done.
I think it's a little strange. Is it 36? It's not even 36. It's taller than a 36.
It's a 36.2.
It's a 36.85. Like I find that odd. So that is another thing that kind of has a little bit of a gripe. But overall, the concept was really good. So kudos for ingenuity. Well done. And I think that's our initial impression.
Okay, that's enough terminal talk for the day. We had a lot of fun with this. Now we've done 2 videos on terminal tackle. You guys, as always, leave us ideas in the comments below. What did we miss? What are we not thinking of? What are you doing with your terminal boxes? Let us know. We'd love to hear it and probably make a future video about it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.